Yeah, you read the title. You know what we are talking about today. And no, it's not clickbait. I do believe that the cure to art blocks is not making art. And I know it sounds counterintuitive in some way, but hopefully by the end of this video, you will understand why I have this mindset. But before we delve into it, I just want to thank you guys for dropping so many cool comments and for keeping up with my content. And I'm so glad that I could read some of you guys and help you in some way. And I'm happy that I can provide value to you all. Not providing value as an artist to other people buy my products, but as an artist providing value to other artists because you guys are my tribe. And being able to help you or inspire you in some way is everything to me, so thank you so much. And if it's your first time here, welcome to Art Talk. This is a place for you and me to talk about art and everything related to art psychology and art career. And I really want this to be a frank talk between you and me. And when I say talk, I do mean it, and I want you to be part of this. So feel free to comment anything about this topic or any other topic related to art if you want to. And if you want to interact with me and show me your art, feel free to DM me in any of my social media. Links are on the description below. So let's get straight to it. I really wanted to talk about art blocks because it's something canonical in every artist's journey. And everybody has had an experience with art blocks before, and if not, they will probably have by the end of their lives. It's something so common, and although so common, it seems like there's a lot of different answers to how to cure art blocks. Different people have different ideas of what art blocks even are, and because of that, they have different answers to how to deal with them. And I do have a very light approach to it. I don't believe that forcing your way through anything is usually the answer. So I have had an art block, an immense art block. This is my 1 cent on the topic, my personal experience, just so you know that I have had this shitty feeling of not being able to do art before. So what happened was, when I was on my early teens, I started making art and posting it online. I got my first Wacom. I believe that's how you say its name in English, Wacom. And I could finally draw on my computer, which was nice. I had been drawing my whole childhood before that, not practicing. I never knew there was something like practical to drawing. I discovered that drawing exercises and studying art existed when I was like 12 and ignored it like for most part of my life. I only really practiced art when I reached adulthood. But anyways, when I got my first Wacom, I could finally draw digitally, and I started posting my content on DeviantArt. And I was not really ambitious at the time, but I eventually started making a comic just for fun, just with characters that I had been developing throughout my whole childhood. And eventually these characters grew on me. I was like, they were really dear to me, and I was really happy to be able to make something with them. So I started making a comic, and because a lot of different problems and ideas, I ended up scrapping most of it and started over again and over again and over again. And when I realized it, I was already on my like 6th or 7th comic project. It taught me a lot, but by the end of it, I was exhausted. When I gave up on my 6th or 7th comic, I was so drained from all of it. And I was just a teenager. I was like 16. And then I decided to shift things around. So I said, hey, why don't I just do animations? I really love animations. I've been watching animated movies and I'm fond of them since ever. So why not learning how to animate? So I did it. I started learning how to animate. I got Richard Williams' book, and it was cool and all. I even started like a YouTube channel, which I will never reveal its name, doing my own little animations and stuff. Highly inspired by Domix, by the way. And eventually I gave up on it as well, because it was just so tiring and there was so little return to that. So I was not motivated. And after that, I was extra burned out. I was extra fatigued. I had worked on so many projects and I couldn't finish one of them. And this put me on an immense art block. For the next few years, I couldn't really draw anything that I wanted to. I think I spent like 2 or 3 years not really into it. I knew that I loved to draw. I knew that it was something endearing to me because I had these experiences. I had these memories of me drawing. Like, I drew all the time. So of course I loved it. But for some reason I couldn't really get the feeling. I was not in the mood. So I had this immense art block. The thing that got me back to art really was understanding that there was so much around me that could inspire me. That mindset of changing my lenses. Instead of focusing on how much I was tired of drawing, I had now this ability to focus on what I thought was beautiful. And this is a whole discussion that permeates art blocks, but people don't really talk about it as much because art blocks are considered something that happens to the individual. And it is in your mind, it is in your psyche. It's something that happens to you, but it has more to do with your environment than it has to do with you and with everything that happens around you. Because this is a shared experience. Every artist feels art blocks because we get tired of it, we get fatigued, but at the same time, we all exist in the same world. So if one person can get in an art block and get out of it, everybody that gets an art block, which is virtually everybody that works with art, everybody can get out of it as well. And although the experience is fairly different among people on how to get out of these art blocks, I think there's something in common, and it has more to do with your environment, as I said before. But before we even talk about this, it's important that we think about the difference between content and art. And I really want to talk about content and art more thoroughly, but just for now, let's just quickly differentiate between them. Content and art are associated, and you can really think of one without thinking of the other. And when I say content, I mean specifically content which are also artistic forms, like filmmaking. Like the product, the film, is always content, even though it is also art. If you draw something which is obviously art, you can show it to people and then becomes content. If it exists as a shared experience among you and other people, it's content. And the difference between the two is not really the substance, but the way you look at them. When I see something that I think it's beautiful, and I get that feeling that it tries to give to me, or if it makes me react in any way, I am inspired by the art, even though I'm consuming it. And inspiration is usually associated with art, but not with content. But that's the thing, we don't really stop to see art. Like, it's very rare the occasions in which we go to see art expositions or to go to the cinema to watch a very cult film. We usually go to places to see art as content. And there's nothing wrong with consuming content, it's fine. Like, our life, mainly nowadays, our hobbies are tightly related to content. And it's fine, it's something that helps you go through this crazy, immense experience that is life. But at the same time, content can make you feel numb. And the problem is not content itself. And the problem is not the idea of content as something that you must consume, but the idea of the content that you are consuming right now. The problem is not on the thing, it's on how we pursue this thing. So there are so many different things out there that can fit in both categories, art and content, that can inspire us in different ways. And I think the challenge is in perceiving that. So you can consume the same things and get different ideas from it. You can consume the same things and get different experiences related to your own personal endeavor. If you watch a series and you focus solely on the content value of it, you're gonna get what you ask for, content. But at the same time, you can focus on the artistic aspects of that content, and it will change the way you see that. So one of the examples that I can think of is the series Dark. Just love that series, it's absolutely baffling. And if you just watch Dark with this mindset, okay, I want to watch this, it's fun, it's a series, you're gonna get an amazing experience, like no doubt. It's an amazing piece of content. It's like one of the best things that I have ever watched. But if you pay attention to the way it structures itself, if you pay attention to the cinematography or the sound effects and the acting and the storytelling, the way things are tied up in the story, you're gonna get a lot of different ideas from it. You're gonna get inspired by it in some way. And it is fairly common for people to get very inspired by this kind of medium that merges different types of art. So series and movies are great examples of this, but it doesn't have to be like this. You can get immensely inspired by artworks that work with one modality alone, not multiple modalities like movies. So when you look at content that you already consume, but change your lenses, you perceive things that you would not perceive otherwise. And this makes a lot of difference because now you are flexing that creative muscle. And the idea of a creative muscle doesn't quite sound right, but everything happens in the brain, and creativity is no exception to this. It's more of a skill than something that you are born with. It's not a personality trait. I do believe that we all are very creative individuals and that we kind of lost this creativity muscle because we don't use it, we don't flex it. So when you become numb to this and you already feel so tired and fatigued from all the experiences that you had related to the art block, it might sound very difficult and very hard tasking to look at things that you consume and just want to consume it for fun, just to relax, and try to look at it in a more systematic way and try to get something from it to get inspired. It sounds like too much hard work, but it just sounds like hard work because it sounds like consuming content is something easy and that it just does no harm to you, but it does. Consuming too much content can make you feel worse. It can make this art block just deepen, because that's the thing, a lie that we all fell into. That's a trap, mainly in the art world. The feeling this ease about consuming stuff feels like you are relaxed and happy with it, but most of the time you are not. Most of the time this kind of this way of consuming content makes you feel very numb about everything around you. It just passes through you and it doesn't impact you in any meaningful way. And again, it's not a problem, but if that's the only way art gets to you, then it becomes a problem because it doesn't quite activate that creative muscle. So what should you do when you have an art block? Making art is probably not the answer. It's very rarely the answer, because feeling you have an art block and feeling that you can't do art right now, it's a signal. That's your brain signaling to you that you are not ready to do that. That is fatiguing it, it's tiring it. And the creative process should not be tiring. Harnessing the skills to make art should be in some way tiring, because it is difficult, it is something that you should think thoroughly and that you should practice a lot, so it is tiring, but the creative process itself should not be. If you have to force creativity, it's not really creativity anymore. It's just you having, like, keeping up a lot of volume to make something happen. So it's just your brain signaling to you that you can't do that anymore. It's getting too tired. The same way that you feel pain because your body is signaling to you that there's something wrong in a certain area of your body. So the best thing that you can do, in my opinion, is pick the content that you already like. And when you consume this content, be it music, be it movies, be it comic books, and overall anything, think about the area of your art practice that could be benefited from it. And when you consume it, just be open to the possibilities of inspiration from that thing. Just let go. Let go of the control that you want to have over your own creativity. Just be ready to accept things to come to you. Being able to look at the things that I already love and being open for these things to change me was the only thing that really got me out of this art block. Because now it was not about me getting tired because I needed to do art, but it was me coming from a genuine place of inspiration. Now that I played this game and I felt so moved by this feeling that this game gave me, I feel ready to pass this feeling to another person through my art. Even if nobody sees it, even if it doesn't become content, or if it becomes content but it doesn't reach people well, it's still gonna be you putting out something that came to you easily. So the way you were moved by other things is the way that you can move yourself to make art. Because inspiration comes from unexpected places. It's like the love of your life. You're probably not gonna find this person in a place that you expect. It's always unexpected. And this kind of things always comes to you when you let go of the feeling of control. Wanting to control art is dangerous because art harnesses a part of you that you don't even know. There's so much in you that you are not aware of and that you can express and to get you know yourself through your art endeavor. So trying to control it is trying to catch someone in a dark room. You don't know where they are. It's very tricky. So once you do this, once you start to look at the art you already consumed with this openness and with this idea of, okay, I'm gonna get inspired by something eventually, what is the next thing that you should do? What do you do from it? What do you do with this inspiration? One thing that people kind of gravitate towards is the idea that art is expressed only through the art means that we openly talk about. So drawing, making music, dancing, whatever. But truth is, artistry is everywhere. And it is expressed in a lot of different ways, in a lot of different places. If you pay a lot of attention to it, you're gonna see these more clearly around you. Take a look around you. There is probably some piece of art very near you. Either some painting somewhere, or maybe a small sculpture, some handcrafted thing, maybe books, and there's a lot of art there. There's literally literature there. And if it's not literature, if it's like self-help books, that's also art, it's also writing. So it is everywhere. And when you feel this art block so deeply, you get this scarcity mentality. Like creativity is something scarce, but it is not. Creativity is abundant. It's literally infinite. You can get it everywhere. So you can use this inspiration to change the way you act around yourself. When you feel open to different art forms to change you, and you have different feelings now that you have finished appreciating some type of content or some type of art form, now you can make this feeling move you. Sometimes it's not even through art. Sometimes it's through actions. Sometimes it's through thinking. When I finished watching Dark, I got so thoughtful of everything that it made me feel. Like for the next 3 days after I finished the last episode of Dark, I felt so empty. And it made me realize that there's different ways to look at life. And the way I was looking at life was just one of them, not necessarily correct or wrong, just very different. And that this void that the series made me feel, and if you have watched it, you probably felt the same, like this idea of existence and non-existence being so close to each other. And there's a whole infinity between the way I was feeling before and the way I was feeling now. And after 3 or 4 days, I was feeling at my normal again, but I was able to change my whole universe just by the way I felt about it. Because that's it, your life is entirely mental. So as far as you are concerned, the way you look at the universe is the way the universe is. So this emptiness in the universe that I was feeling right after I finished Dark didn't exactly make me make art, but it made me thoughtful enough. So I have changed. It made me change. I didn't do the thing that I hate the most when people do it, because when you finish a very good movie, a very impactful movie, you just get through your life normally. Okay, I just turn off the TV or just change channels and watch something else. But just think about it for a second. Let that feeling sink in, and made it change you for real. And that's the trap in content. Again, the problem is not content, it's the way we consume it. So when something changes you, don't just let it go and like let it run away from you and just get to different content. No, just let that change you and be okay with it. And just be open to understand that these differences that you are now feeling, these new feelings, the way you have been changed, will be expressed through the way you make art in the future. It might not be today, it might not be next week, but in the act of not making art, but appreciating art and artistry in things around you and the things that you already consume, you are flexing that creative muscle. And once it gets flexed enough, you will feel ready to make another thing. You will be ready to get back to it. And it will feel natural. Because if it doesn't feel natural, you're probably forcing something. You're probably using brute force. And brute forcing is very dangerous when you're talking about something so precious and so delicate as art. So let's say you did it all. You were feeling this art block, you were psychologically damaged by this art block, and you decided to let it go and just consume content and art around you very carefully. And now you have these new feelings and you have been changed. And you can build up. And now that you built up this immense creative power, you feel ready to get back to work. And once you do it, first of all, it's gonna be a great thing. And you should give yourself grace for not being able to do art for a certain period of time. It's okay. And second of all, you are feeling amazing now because you can finally back to do what you like to do, what you love doing, the art forms that you chose to your life. Once you get back to it, there's just one more thing you need to do, which is not being afraid of having art blocks anymore. Again, art blocks are just a signal that your body and mind are not paired with that yet. They are not synchronized. And the ideas that you have about our career are not really aligned on how you really feel about art right now. You really have to be aligned. And you cannot be aligned when you're afraid. Because at the end of the day, fear is pretty much like reverse faith. Something's not real until it happens. So fearing something is having faith that it is going to happen, or is that very possible that it's going to happen. You should not be afraid of having art blocks. The same way you shouldn't be afraid of breaking a bone tomorrow. Like, oh, what if in the next year I break a bone and have to like use crutches? No, don't think about it like this. The same way you shouldn't think about art blocks or what if it happens again. It will happen again if you reach a point of stress that you can deal with anymore. But doing this exercise of looking at things, at content, at art forms in a very open way, you are flexing the creative muscle, and by doing this, you are aligning your present self with the vision you have of art. And these things make it all so much easier that you are going to feel way better about your process, about your practice, about your endeavor, about your artworks, about the process, about everything. And once you feel so aligned and so happy with it all, it becomes so much easier to just live with it. And art blocks are much rare in this state because you are really paired with it all. It sounds complex, but once you think about it, it becomes something so straightforward. Like, don't stress yourself out, so you feel aligned with it, and then art blocks kind of disappear. Sometimes it does take a little bit for it all to dissipate and for you to feel ready again to get back to it. But just the act of not struggling so hard with it, to let it go and to understand that you are going to get back to art eventually. It's not something that's going to take your whole life. You're not going to take this feeling with you until the day of your death. No, it will dissipate. You just have to relax first and to be really open to the world around you. So again, don't be afraid of having art blocks. And if you are having an art block right now, again, be chill. Don't be afraid of this feeling. Don't fight with it. Go with it. Be able to experience art that other people made. And when you get inspired enough by it, when this feeling of inspiration and ease and happiness with art as a whole gets much stronger than the feeling of fatigue and tiredness and all the mental strains that you have put in yourself. When this difference happens, you are going to feel ready. I promise you. And you're gonna notice. Right away, you're going to notice the differences in your way of acting, in your way of thinking about art, in your way of getting through the process. So try it out. If you are not ready to get back to art yet, if you are having an art block right now, just try it out, because the worst thing that can happen is you not getting the feeling to get back to it anymore. The worst thing that can happen is just you keeping in the art block. So you can literally not drag yourself down from this. But try it out. Give yourself some grace and be faithful that this process can work and that you can get back to your normal self doing art that you love. And this is something that is so pristine and so important to all of us. I know this. If you have reached this point in the video or in the audio, you know that it is important to you, even if you don't agree with it. So treat it with the importance that it deserves. Treat this topic with the care and love that you would treat anything else in your life. And if you have anybody you know who's going through an art block recently, maybe try giving these tips to them and see if they can change it and if they can get back to making art again. Or you recommend this video if you're not feeling like making a summary or something. But yeah, I think that's all I have to say about this topic. Those are the things that helped me, so hopefully they can help you as well. And if you have reached this far, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Once again, feel free to drop any comments about this topic and with your ideas or thoughts about this if you want to. I appreciate every single comment and every single person that gets helped or inspired in some way. And even if you were not helped, even if this video was completely bullshit, drop your comments, because maybe your perspective is the same perspective as other people, or your ideas can help them more than my video did. So definitely be open with us and drop your ideas down below. And again, if you have something that you are working on, or you have an art project or artworks that you want to share with me, feel free to DM me on my social media and I'll be more than glad to see that. I love discovering new artists. So that's all for today. Thank you so much for being here with me. I'm so glad that we are building this community together, and I will see you guys in a few days. Peace.